another, just a small little lecture here on something I've touched on a while back, and I feel like the need to touch on it again with some of the experiences I've had, and also with some studies that I've been doing in books, through meditation, and through just, like I said, different experiences I've been having in my journey, and different things I've applied on my journey that have helped me to come to realize some of these things that we've already done this. We've done so much, and the reason why I say we is because, as a collective, those of us who are truly conscious, truly awake, truly doing this work of self-realization, gnosis, knowledge of self, knowing that, which is what this journey is really about, self-actualization, methodology, the actual practice of spirituality, the actual coming to face to face with one's own true self. That we've done these things in the past, such as building pyramids and finding different elements within the earth and learning how to use them and to heal the body and for other things, but now in this modern age, you've gotten something called quantum physics and science and chemistry and all that, which it has its place. However, when you think about it, and like I said, when you actually do this work and you come to actually realize who and what you are as a God, really more than a God, when I get into this, you'll see that we're more than gods. We're more than just cells and light and DNA within the body. We come before creation. We come before light itself. We come before God itself. Matter of fact, we are God itself. But our soul, when you look at ancient mythology, when you really study mythology, when you look at the different things that we left behind for us to learn, because we knew this time was coming, this time of this great period of sleep, which is needed, which was needed, just as we go to sleep at night, we wake up again. So now that we're awake, we left all these different things behind through different people, like, different inventors like Nikola Tesla, and different sorcerers like Aleister Crowley, or some of my favorite lecturers like Bobby Hemmett, or Phil Valentine, Deborah Blair. You know what I mean? You come back to, in this reawakening period. You know what I mean? No matter how you feel about different people, where they're from, different races, whatever. You know what I mean? This information, or this light, which is what this is really about, gaining light, finding light, it doesn't discriminate. You know what I mean? Certain people were chosen to bring forth this light of true light, real true light, real true light working, real true light seeking. You know what I mean? Not any of the airy, fairy, fluffy stuff that you see out there, but the real, true inner work. That we are, they taught that we are God in the flesh, the genie in the bottle, basically. You know what I mean? The soul, the mummy. You know what I'm saying? The mummy is the concept. When you study the concept of the mummy and these different mythologies like Osiris, and Isis, this physical body is the wrapping, and the mummy represents eternal life. We do have eternal life, no matter, because it doesn't really have anything. Your soul, what your soul is, when I get into this lecture, it's, like I said, it comes before creation. It is light itself. It comes before the sun. Although the sun, I'm going to get into that in another lecture as well too, S-O-L, the alchemical term for it, soul, is S-O-U-L. Our soul is a particle of light. However, our soul comes before Ra, or the sun, You see what I'm saying? We created the sun itself as a tool. The sun is nothing more than a tool. Of course, the sun does represent something on a greater on a greater level. However, the soul comes before the sun. The soul created the sun. That's Sirius. That's Lucifer, the light bringer. That's Isis, which represents Sirius as well too in the Egyptian mythology, which is what I'm going to get into in this lecture. I'm getting into many mythologies because right now we call, like I was saying before, we have something called quantum physics, which is basically the study of physical reality, really. Which really, that's really what it is. It's really nothing all that really special or to me anyways, or intriguing, because all it is physics, physical reality. Really the study of how the physical reality came into being, or the different aspects of the physical reality on a deeper level, such as in alchemy we call it the prima materia. The prima materia is basically matter, the alchemical marriage of matter and spirit. The prima materia, the primal matter, which is our soul. Our soul is the primal matter, the titans. And just to give a basic overview of what I'm going to get into, you have the gods, you have the titans. The titans come before the gods. In quantum physics and astrophysics and all that, and just a basic study of the universe, they say in the beginning there was darkness, and then there was a big bang of light. There was a burst of light, the big bang. The beginning, there were the titans, and then there were the gods, the light beings, or photons. Photons, this is a little side tangent, I like to mix or integrate science and quantum physics with my spirituality. You know what I mean? It's in my different occult practices that I do practice, and different path workings that I walk. Whether it be the Goetia, the lesser keys of Solomon dealing with the demons, or the greater keys of Solomon dealing with the angels, or the Norse path working that I've done for like I've only done that for like a week or two, but I've gotten great results with that as well too. But what I'm trying to say is that I like to combine these two because to me it's important. You see what I'm saying? To combine what we know today as quantum physics, science, chemistry with ancient mythology, spirituality, because really the quantum we understood things on a quantum physics level, or however you want to say it. It's just that we interpreted it differently. Now there's something called string theory. Back then there was something called, they called it in whatever culture you look into or you study, they called it something different. They might have called it, just as an example, in the Taoist practice, they might have called it chi, although chi is just energy in the body, but I'm just giving you, the spiritual energy in the body, but I'm just giving you an example, But like I said, in the beginning there was darkness, and then there was light. Titans, gods. The titans come before the gods. We are the titans. When you read the story of, and of course, this isn't a literal story. This is, like I said, these stories, when we wrote these stories, they were not meant to be taken literally. You know what I mean? There weren't really giant beings in the sky that birthed, literal children. We knew what dark matter was, but we just called it the Titans in the Greek mythology, the Ogdoads in the Egyptian mythology. And then came the gods. Then came Ra. Ra is not anything special. Like I said, Ra is just the sun. But the true sun behind the sun is Sirius, or Lucifer, or the light bringer, or the true light bringer, which is represented in the human body as the pineal gland, as above, so below. So, in saying that, we are the universe, as you always say, manifested within itself. There's nothing out there but us, not only on an egoic level, but on a true self-realization level, on a soul level, what we truly are. What we truly are is, it isn't even creation. It could, we come before creation, way before creation. You know what I mean? I'm not just saying that because I heard other people say it or I just read it in a book. This is something that I actually realized through meditation, through ritual work, through self-realization, through self-actualization, through trial, tribulation, through overcoming my humanity. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's get into the lecture. All right, I'm gonna get into this lecture right here, and as you see right here, I have the Kabbalah tree of life. In every single, like almost every single video that I've done or lecture that I've done, I have used the Kabbalah tree of life because to me, symbols are important to use in teaching because it gets symbols. Your subconscious mind is programmed through trauma, symbols, and repetition. And the Kabbalah tree of life is just basically a symbol. And really it's much more than that on a deeper level. The Kabbalah tree of life is based on logic, and it's also based on creativity and creation. And the way I teach the Kabbalah is that for beginners, if you don't know what it is, it's basically a map of the universe and a map of also the human body. It's a map really of the petty universe. What I mean by the petty universe is the planets that we can see with our physical eyes and Earth, the human body, really. But where should I start here? Because there's really a lot to cover here. But when you look at up here, I have at the top right here, I have written down the white lights, and in the red here, I wrote down prism. And when you look at this first world right here, because there's 4 worlds of the Kabbalah: existence, creation, formation, and the physical world. This upper world is the only triangle that's pointing up. That's the world of the real. Our world down here is based on simulation. It's a simulation. It's basically a copy of a world, a copy of a copy of a copy. You see what I'm saying? But the rest of these worlds are pointing down, which represents creation. So yeah, as the term goes in the Hermetic principles, as above, so below. But what I'm really getting at here is at the top of this Kabbalah tree of life, we have something called a prism. A prism is basically a triangle, and scientists have used triangles. They use like a crystal triangle, and they shined a white light through the triangle, and through the white light you get the 7 visible lights, or the 7 colors. You know what I mean? Red, yellow, blue, green, orange, all that. But what's interesting in Kabbalah, when you look at this, and as I was saying, ancient mythology, all this stuff there's really nothing new. They have something up here called the triple darkness of space. In the beginning there was darkness, and then there was light. You have Ein Sof, and Ein Sof Ur. Ein Sof Ur means limitless light. The white light shines through the prism right here, and you get this. Like I said, you shine a white light. Just look it up. I think I'll show a picture of the white light and the prism. But you just do your own research on it and see what you come up with. Shine the white light through the prism, and you get the 7 colors, 7 days of the week, 7 planets, right? Watch this. Ein Sof, Ein Sof, Ein Sof, Ein Sof Ur, white light, prism. This is the prism. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rays of light. But that's just, like I said, quantum physics is just basically a study of the physical reality.
And excuse me if you hear like background noise and all that. That's just like the air and all that blowing. Uh, but yeah, but that's just one aspect of what I was talking about. And when I say ancient mythology and all these different symbols that we, like I said, man, we did the damn thing back in the days, dude. You know what I mean? This is nothing new. We're just remembering this stuff, you know. But it's kind of I'm trying to go in order here. Just I don't want to skip around. But here also down here, if you see the moon, where I have right here the moon silver equals a silver mirror. I saw a lecture Poke Runyon did on the Goetia and all that, and summoning the demons of the Goetia and all that type of stuff. He was talking about how the moon is a mirror, and the moon deals with water. The moon deals with you know what I mean, the feminine energy and all that. When there's a full moon, the tides in the ocean, they are affected by it, and also us, because we're 70% water. But what's interesting, when he said that, I was like, oh wow, with me knowing this is a white light and this is the prism, and these are basically the 7 days of the week, 7 planets and all that, 7 chakras, 7 colors. The moon reflects all of these colors from the world of the real, not on a metaphysical sense, not really literally, not on a how do I say, like on a logical scientific level, but on a metaphysical sense, the moon, which is also the number 9, which is there's 9. The moon deals with feminine energy, 9 months in the womb and all that. You know what I'm saying? The moon reflects all of these other worlds, or all of these other light spectrums or planetary energies, or these different elements into Earth, number 10, which you can say all other dimensions are in Earth. We're in the 5th dimension. We're in all other dimensions at once. You're in the astral plane right now. You're in the 5th dimension right now. You're in the 7th, 8th, and all that, 9th. We're in it. You see what I'm saying? There's really no, I see people trying to struggle to try to really understand what these things are and how to get there. You're there. You just got to realize that you are. As above, so below. Let thy kingdom, which is Malakuth, that's what this sphere is right here. When you study when you do a basic study of Kabbalah, Malakuth is the kingdom, Earth. As above, so below. Let thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. You see what I'm saying? And also the 4 elements, the 4 worlds. Like I said, the Kabbalah has 4 worlds: Yod, Hey, Wav, Hey, which is also the Tetragrammaton, which has a deeper meaning. I'm gonna do another lecture on that. It has the Tetragrammaton has a deeper meaning. All other dimensions fall into this world. That's what makes Earth so important on a metaphysical sense. Really, your whole deal, the whole game is to what all other mythologies and all other cultures and spiritual systems talk about, is leaving Earth and knowing where you truly come from, which is not here, is here before creation, and getting back to that, getting back to the world of the real and beyond. But that's what makes Earth so important. We're in heaven. You see what I'm saying? We just got to realize that you are, and you have to do the work of the alchemical work, the true great work. You know what I mean? Not just, not being spiritual humans, basically changing the way you eat, changing the way you talk, changing what you listen to, changing what you wear. You know what I mean? Self-grandization, all that type of stuff. True work, true spiritual work. You see what I'm saying? Real gnosis of self, real knowledge of self, But last night I just wrote that down off the top of my head of what I already knew about this. And like I said, I've done lectures on this before. You can check it out. Over here, I have Adam, Atum, and Atom, and Ogdoads. Now, why I wrote that down is because from my studies and from what I've realized is that an angel, check out Bill Donahue's videos. He has very good lectures. Especially when he gets real, he merges the scientific and the metaphysical as well too. That's Bill Donahue, hidden, I think it's called Hidden Meanings. But I learned from him that basically what we call God is just a big ass photon in the sky that came from a dark matter, big black dark matter vagina in the, you know what I mean, in space. And angels are just angles of light. Angel is a messenger. Light or angles of light are messengers. Photon messengers, and our DNA picks up these photon messengers or angles or angels, these 7 planets, 7 angels, 7 days of the week, 7 chakras, all that. You know what I'm saying? They all come, these angels or angles of light come to Earth. I'm not talking about some guy with wings in the sky, but that's what that really is. Check out his lectures on that. You know what I mean? That's very important. But that's very important to know, because you can take that and you can use that. You know what I mean? And I'm not just like putting this out here, all this stuff that I just channeled off the top of my head last night just to show what I know and all this type of stuff. Like, this is something that you can actually use. Methodology. You see what I'm saying? But I got, like I said, I got Adam, Atum, and Atom, and Ogdoads here, because that's what Adam, which is man, which is us, that's what we are. We're just basically a bunch of freaking atoms. Atum is, and I did a lecture. I forgot I did this. I did a lecture on Atum. I put it in the description down below. I did a lecture on Atum, Adam, and Atom, because up here I have Adam in Hebrew here, and really Hebrew it's an ancient language, but this style of Hebrew it's like Hebrew. There's really no such thing as Hebrew when you think about it. It's when you study it from a logical point of view, it's just basically a Canaanite language, Phoenician language, because I mean it's basically the same thing: Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, but it just looks the same. It looks different. This is just block style Hebrew, but I totally don't know why I mentioned that. But like I was saying, I got up here Adam, and in Hebrew the letters are the numbers. This equals 45, which equals 9. Like, remember the number 9, you know what I'm saying? Like I was saying about the number 9 is basically, 369. Nikola Tesla talks about, you know what I mean? If you want to understand the universe, thinking the frequency of 369, all that type of stuff. 3 plus 6 is 9. 369. The number 9 is really the last number, because when you get to 10, 1 plus 0 is 1. As above, so below. 1. But the number 9, that's what Adam equals. But the reason why I got 144 here is because 1, this is the number 1, Aleph, the first letter. The fourth letter is Dalet, or the letter D, 4. Mem is the 40th letter. So what I did is just put the numbers together, not adding them up. Just put them together. You got 144. 144. The Fibonacci sequence, atom. That's what the atom really is, the Fibonacci sequence, the flower of life and all that. Atum in Egypt, the Ogdoads that come before the gods, dark matter. The Ogdoads birthed Atum or Adam. Just like in the Anunnaki story, which people actually think that the Anunnaki, this is just, I'm not trying to, like, if you actually do believe it, by all means, believe it. But to those of us who, don't really believe, that doesn't make us like, because that has turned into a whole other religion. I don't really think that there's like some guy in a spaceship flying around, that created humans to mine gold. I mean, if they had all this special technology to mine gold and not to, why did they create us complex humans to mine for gold? It doesn't really make sense, Like I said, these stories aren't meant to be taken literal. But in the Anunnaki story, and I think I'm gonna let this is gonna be the last part of the lecture. This is just a basic lecture, really. But I just kind of wanted to give everybody a basic view of this. But I know I got the tetragrammaton over here. I'm gonna save that for later for another video, because I'm gonna explain what that really is, what the tetragrammaton really is. It's not a baby killer in the sky. That's a egoic baby killer in the sky that says my ways are more than your ways. Well, I don't kill babies to prove a point. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, the Anunnaki story is basically Tiamat, and I said this in another lecture as well. Tiamat, it starts off with Tiamat, which is the great mother, who is a dragon, who is she's like a dragon, a primordial, because in every culture there's a dragon. That dragon or reptile, and a lot of people talk about the reptilians or evil lizards in a freaking spaceship, in a lizard flying around in a tin can. Yeah, that's we can totally use that for evolution in spirituality. Yeah, but yeah, every culture has a reptile, the dragon. You know what I mean? In Egypt, the dragon in the King Arthur mythologies, you know, and all that. In the European mythologies, you got the dragon in Egypt, you know, Apep, the dragon, the crocodile, you know, in all these other cultures, you have a reptile. The reptile represents the primal force, primordial force, or dark matter. Tiamat represents dark matter, and her husband Absu represents dark matter as well too. Tiamat is salt water. Absu is fresh water. Salt water is the ocean. Fresh water is the rivers. The rivers run into the ocean. You see what I'm saying? Just like a female goes into a male. So Absu and Tiamat, these primordial beings, these primordial dragons, the Leviathan, basically, which is some evil dragon. That's what the concept of the Loch Ness monster is. These two primal beings created, or these two dark matter beings created the Anunnaki, which are light beings. And then the light beings took these Anunnaki, killed Tiamat, and made Adumu, or Adam, with Tiamat, with their parents. So we are the parents of light. We created light. You know what I'm saying? If you understand that story on a deeper level, just as the Titans were killed by the gods, Zeus and all those guys, and the Titans used the blood of, the gods used the blood of the Titans and made humans out of them. Just like, look at the movie Clash of the Titans. That was like, yo, do not pray to the gods, do not give them your energy, or they will die. And the gods was like, Zeus was like, yo, the humans are not praying to us. What the fuck? And then somebody prayed to Ares, and then it was like, oh, who the fuck prayed to Ares? You know what I'm saying? So know who you are on a primal level. I don't mean like on a primal I mean like on a, how do I explain it? On a deeper level, that you come before creation. You see what I'm saying? Know truly who and what you are. We left this behind. You know what I mean? Actually use this for self-realization, actualization. Use this knowledge that I gave you just now. Don't take my word for it. You know what I mean? Look it up. Do the work. You know what I'm saying? Use it. Like, don't stop using this stuff for entertainment. It's just like, one day I was like, I seen something, and I just watched it, you know what I mean, just to decode it and to look at. It was a show called, I'm pretty sure many of you have heard of it, it's called Ancient Aliens. Like, that show shows everything that we did, discrediting everything that we did, us humans that we did, that we were more than, we proved ourselves to be more than gods when we built the pyramids, when we built these mounds, and when we did all this amazing stuff. There's temples in India that they cannot explain how we built, but they want to blame it on aliens. aliens, some guy in a tin can from the other side of the universe built this stuff, and not our divine minds. That's sad, but people really believe this. Even in the so-called conscious community, people are teaching this. We did this stuff. I'm not saying that on an egoic point. That's just the facts. We did this. There's no other being that came down and taught us this stuff. We like look at this. Like, this is us. This is us right here. You know what I mean? Stop giving something outside of yourself credit for something that we did because we knew we could do it. And we still can do it. I'm not saying we should go out and build a pyramid again. I mean, we did that already. Or we should be on top of the world again economically and all this stuff, and we should bang on the beast, and we should fight the power and the man and the white man and all that. No, that's not. That's. Or we should wait for some alien to come back. That's bullshit human stuff, man. This is the real deal. The Ogduwas, Atum, Adam. This is us. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, see you in space.